Hello, welcome to this short presentation, How to Speak Up and Stand Out at Work. My name is Jackie Case from Confidence Coaching UK, and I'll be taking you through this little mini presentation. So as I said, my name is Jackie from Confidence Coaching UK, and I help professionals unlock their inner strength so they can speak up, be seen, and succeed in their career. So are you ready to be seen? How did that feel when I said that? Are you ready to be seen? When you really think about that emotion, sometimes people can think, oh, I'm excited about it. I'm really, really up for it to be seen. Or others are kind of like, okay, I'm up for it, but I feel a little bit apprehensive at the same time. And what we have is different emotions that do come up when we are having to put ourselves forward. And one of them is fear of failure. And, everything we do in life is a learning opportunity. And when you learn, you sometimes have to come across things that are uncomfortable. That doesn't mean to say that you are failing. It just means that you are trying, you're learning to see if it's for you or not for you. And the fear of failure is actually something that you're saying to yourself that you cannot do or cannot have. So it's an internal emotion that you're battling yourself with. And actually, fear of failure, as I said, means that sometimes you have to put yourself out there to see what happens. Now, there is an opposite to that, and that's fear of success. What happens if it does come out? What happens if you are successful? What sort of emotions do you think you will feel if you were? What about the people around you? How do you think they're going to be? How do you think your family's going to be? How do you think it's going to affect your life? So sometimes people have fear of failure, but they also have fear of success as well. So I know myself what it's like to have ideas, skills, be driven in an idea and then not be visible. And, I think you see many people every day that put stuff on social media. When you work for yourself, obviously, you have to drive your business and you put stuff out on the media and you can be invisible. And it can be very frustrating at the same time. But when you're in a work environment and you are putting not being seen, it can almost feel all consuming because that's your work environment. They say there's two areas of your life. There's your personal and your professional. And when you're in your professional environment and you don't feel that you're being valued or seen, it can really have an impact on how you perform. So maybe you stay quiet in meetings, you avoid networking, or you hold your back because you fear of being judged. Now, again, judgment is actually an internal emotion, like fear. So I want to ask you a simple question to put it into perspective. We all have 24 hours in the day, and how many times or how many hours out of that 24 do you spend judging other people? And I'd probably say it's very, very minimal. And the reason why is because you've got your own stuff to deal with. The last thing you want to be doing is thinking about other people. So when it comes around to it, it's only the people that have this amazing spare time on their hands that they actually do have impact, or you get trolled or whatever. The keyboard warriors, as they say, is because they've got that time to do it. Whereas most genuine people don't have the time because they've got their own stuff to deal with. So I want you to put that in perspective before you start saying fear of judgment. Well, today I want to show you exactly how you can overcome that. So if you want to grab a pen, take some notes, you're more than welcome. Pause this little video. So confidence is a problem at work. And the reason for it, 70%, get that, 70% of employees admit they avoid speaking up because they fear of being judged. That's massive, massive, and such a huge opportunity, and a missed opportunity for some companies as well, because they feel that they've not got a voice. Many hard-working professionals remain overlooked simply because they don't showcase their value, or they don't ask. No one's a mind reader. No one can really know what you're thinking or what you deserve. So sometimes you have to show people, but you also have to ask the question. And if they say no, it could be KNOW. I don't know enough information rather than no. Imposter syndrome, fear you're not good enough. So I'm going to help you with that in a few moments. It's everywhere. Don't just think it's at your bottom level, medium level, low level. It's actually even top performers will go through this. And does it sound familiar to you? And why do you struggle most? So, the first thing is we need to find out where. What is it? What is your issue? Is it in meetings? Is it in presentations? Or is it self-promotion? Is it actually sort of putting yourself forward for whatever opportunity is coming up? Now, it's not about arrogance. So, when you speak up for yourself, it's not about arrogance. And I think that comes back to sometimes, when you're younger, if it was me, it was like you're being selfish. So sometimes you stay quiet because you're afraid that you're going to come across as arrogant or selfish. It's actually about owning your own values. And this is why I've developed a simple framework that can help my clients step into their power at work. And I'm excited to share it with you. So just want to go through this, and it's called the CASE method. Apt because it's my surname. CASE. Okay, so first thing is we want to be consciously aware. We need to pause, and we need to know what we're hearing, what we're seeing, and what we're feeling. So we need to actually get some clarity. And I have a favorite analogy of mine, and people think I'm nuts when I say this, but sometimes, let me show it to you. If you're in a field, so you can imagine yourself in a field right now, and all you can see in front of you is corn. Okay, hundreds and thousands of bits of corn. Okay, now you don't know, all you can see is the corn that's in front of you. It's not until you get in your helicopter and then you come above the corn field, you can see what's coming up that's good, that's bad, and that you can change direction wherever you want to go. So sometimes we have to get in our helicopter above the scenario rather than being in the thick of it and actually see what's going on. And that's the first thing, being conscious aware of it. Next, we need to accept it without judgment. And this isn't about the blame game or shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's just about let's just have a look and see where it is. And if you struggle with that, sometimes, write it down on a piece of paper and put somebody else's name at the top of that paper rather than your own, because we're actually very good at giving other people advice, but not very good at giving our own advice. But sometimes if you put somebody else's name at the paper, you can disconnect from it yourself and think, okay, what advice could I give so-and-so, let's say Jane, and then literally you could then put your name back on it at the end when you've got your answers. And then once you actually find out exactly what it is, you can actually then get some strategies. And then once you have some strategies, that will then give you empowerment. So first thing then is we need to have a look at clarity, and that's clarity of self. You can't stand out if you don't know what makes you stand out. So this is where I think sometimes we go into things, but we haven't got any evidence for ourselves, and we just look at the top. We just look at the surface. So what are my unique strengths? So this is where I really like to help you. Get yourself a pen and paper when you've got time and write down all of your skills that you have had since you've left school. Every single one of them. Think about the jobs that you've done. Think about what were your strengths, what you liked, what you didn't like, and then look at how much of your skills that you have that are transferable to make you move forward. And that is huge, because sometimes we talk about us, but when you've got evidence that these are the skills that I've done in the past, then you can use those skills to transition forward. rather than be a personal attack on yourself. This is about your skills. And I think sometimes when it comes around to businesses, what you've got to think about is a business has a top line, and then underneath that, they have job descriptions that they want people to do. When emotions get involved, because you work with the people all the time, they become your friends, we can't help but take stuff personally. But from a business perspective, they have certain roles that they have to perform. And when somebody comes along and they've got that skill set, why would they not want that person? It's not about personality or anything like that. It's about is that person capable of doing that job? And if you've got your skill set written down, you can prove to yourself that you're capable. And then you can go, this is me, and this is what I've done, and this is why I'm good for the next position. So sometimes we forget what we've achieved. We can look back on the past and the negatives, but we're never looking back and going, oh my God, I did that in the past. It almost like becomes like when you have like a memory and it comes back and you go, oh, that's when that happened and it made me feel good. But when you've actually achieved something, because it was maybe something you worked so hard for and you went through a bit of discomfort to get that result, the last thing you want to do is revisit it. But what you're not focusing on is the actual result that you achieved. So what are you most proud of? They're your strengths. Why do you consider, where do you constantly add value? So when you take a look at your job role now, where do you add value to that job role? And again, you can look back at your other list and think, I've had these skills that maybe I've even forgotten about, and they could be actually adding more value to my position. So write down 3 things that you would like to do better, that you can do better than your team. Now, this isn't about name or shame or anybody else. This is about you, your individual. And there's another thing, because what we tend to do is sometimes compare, and comparison is the thief of joy. So just think about yourself when it comes to this. What are your strengths, 3 top strengths that you have in your current position? This is awareness. And once you have awareness, you will then be able to have more confidence to be able to move forward. Acceptance without judgment. And this is key. We all have a past. And as I said, some things are uncomfortable and all of that, but we must be able to go, okay, this isn't working. It's not because I'm rubbish or anything like that. It's just the circumstances. So now I need to have a clean slate, a clean piece of paper, and I need to write a new plan. And it's okay, and give yourself permission to actually forgive, forget, and actually go, right, I need something new. Assertive communication. Confidence isn't about being the loudest person in the room, speaking out. It's about having impact. Okay. And that's where, as I said, when you take a look at a business has a position, a role that they need to fill. It's that they want to concentrate on. And if you can help the business achieve that, then you're on a winner. And I teach my clients the 3 P's as well. The first one is point, proof, and purpose. So point is your idea. So what exactly is it? I keep saying it. If you put an explanation and you say it, and you put it at the top of the page and write, what is it that I want? Then that's more clearer rather than making it all like a big thing out of it. Evidence, proof. What evidence do you have that you can do that job? And as I said, when you look back at all your transferable skills, I'm sure some of those can be used in your new position. An outcome. So if I was to get this, what would the outcome be? And that's your purpose. This structure makes it sound clear, it gives it credibility, and it gives you confidence to actually have a plan to move forward. Strategy. You need to be seen. And that means you need to be able to show up and show your values. It isn't about bragging or anything like that, but you do need to show up and you do need to be seen by somebody. And you start by sharing your wins as a contribution, not an ego. These are the things that I have done, and this is how I can do this. This is how I can be a benefit to you. Example, I'm proud of our team's achievement X, and I've contributed this. So change that sentence around to suit your needs. If it's, and again, I think as humans, we want to justify why we're doing something. Men and women are very, very different. Men just say it. Women get emotional behind it. And when you just say a two sentence rather than I feel I'm this because of blah, 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 you can get yourself wrapped up and go off on all different tangents and directions. Whereas really and truthfully, keep your sentence. I feel that I can benefit this because of this. Empowerment. Once you have your clarity, you have your awareness, you have your strategies, you now basically have a plan and you can then be empowered to make that work. And that's about having a clear plan so you can take action. So let me give you an example. I work with a lady called Sarah. She's a marketing manager who felt invisible. She used this system, started sharing her ideas in meetings, and within 3 months, she landed herself a new project. And in 6 months, she got promoted. So keep it simple. This isn't luck, it's strategy plus confidence. So let's make this a practical skill for you to be able to do. One way of adding value. What are you going to do this week where you have added value to your environment, your team, to your workload? Again, we are very good at knocking ourselves. We're not very good at praising ourselves. So look at your strengths and focus on those. And if you have got weaknesses, they may be things that you need to learn and give yourself permission to learn. So let's talk about this then. Remember, your voice matters, your ideas matter, and you deserve to be seen. Let me recap on things that you can do right now that can help you. First of all, write down all of your skills that you have done in the past. Even if you wanted to, you could write pros and cons to them. Maybe you've got a history in the past where maybe your job didn't work out for you, so it has a bad apple in your mouth, a bad taste in your mouth. But that doesn't mean to say that you didn't learn any strengths from it. And actually, resilience is one of the biggest strengths that you can have. So even if you have had a position in the past where you felt that you weren't seen or weren't heard and it made you feel rubbish, actually, you're now in a new position. So you've actually built resilience. But again, just write it all down. And write down the wins that you've had from the last week. And then it's a starting point. And then when you're ready, you can then go with evidence when you have this meeting to ask for whatever it is that you want to ask for. And I'm here to help. And I can't wait to help you step forward into your full potential. Once again, my name is Jackie from Confidence Coaching UK. Please do reach out, info@Confidence Coaching UK. My telephone number's there, and my website is Confidence Coaching UK as well. And you can book yourself in for a free one-to-one taster session. Let's have a little chat, find out exactly what is causing you to stay stuck, and see if there's any ideas that we can put together that could help you to move forward and be unstoppable, confident, and successful.